I'm here to wake you up and hopefully to entertain you, but not without some serious warnings, because I want to talk about risk and some risks that I've taken in my business and personal life, and you'll be pleased to hear that in every case, they went badly wrong. And my birthday present to myself was to come and tell you all how I've screwed everything up, which, believe me, I have at times. So this is Bath Travel, and we're not just an ordinary travel agent, because we've been a tour operator. We had to close our tour operation for reasons I'll explain to you in a minute, but we've done a lot of exciting things. My father was in the Navy, but when he left the Navy to join the company 60 years ago, he was an inveterate gambler. He used to play a lot of poker. And he taught me to play poker when I was 5 years old and taught me to bluff and to cheat and everything, really. And in those days, we played for matchsticks. It was 5-card poker. And later in life, we were playing for hundreds of thousands of pounds, but the principle is exactly the same. So eventually, I had to start an airline myself, which was quite scary, believe me. Do not try this at home. In the captain's seat, curiously, was the lead singer of the rock band Iron Maiden, a man called Bruce Dickinson. This man has two extraordinary skills. Relatively easy is to become a 737, 757 pilot. But to be the lead singer of a globally famous heavy metal rock band is a lot harder. So he has double skill. He flies his aircraft. When they do the South America tour, he flies his plane around South America and then goes and sings in the band. He has short hair. He has to wear a beanie. All the rest, of course, have got hair down to their waist. Anyway, I diverge. I know that you can all pronounce this. Eyjafjallajökull. This is the Icelandic volcano. Eyjafjallajökull. I know its name because it cost me £450,000 in 6 days. And my father said, "Son, we can now charter Concorde." I said, "Yeah." He says, "Do you want to have a go?" I said, "Yeah." And one day when I was flying around in Wiltshire, I noticed a runway which we weren't allowed to go within 10 miles of, and it's a secret runway. It's called Boscombe Down. It does jet testing with all sorts of weird armaments, fighter jets and stuff. And I knew it was there, so I rang up the commandant of this Boscombe Down airfield and said, could I fly a Concorde out of his runway? And he said, don't be bloody ridiculous. We haven't even got any toilet. We've got one toilet here, a whole bunch of guys in white coats, and it's top secret, so forget it. And so I said, oh, come on, think about it, please. So I rang him back next week, and he said yes, because everybody loves Concorde, of course. 15 years ago, I decided, because we had an ATOL license, to charter planes and go to New York, take people Christmas shopping in New York. So many people wanted to go on our New York flight that I had to hire a jumbo jet to get them there. And luckily, because of that, British Airways had just dumped 7 jumbo jets, some of the old classic 200 jumbo jets, and they'd ended up at Bournemouth Airport. So I hired one, and we flew 440 people in 2002. It was pretty scary stuff, and it was very wet. Anyway, there were 100 people at the end of the runway. I had a videographer there filming, because I knew it would be quite close. But by the time the aircraft took off, at least 50 of them had just run. Someone says Jesus Christ, it isn't going to be me, okay? That's what I call flying by the seat of your pants. About 6 years ago, when I was 54, I got an invitation from the Fleet Air Arm to have a go in one of their little planes. And I'm not a jet pilot. I'm just the average Joe. So this is what happens if the average Joe gets a chance to fly in a weapon of war like a Hawk T-1A. He said, what we do is this. Flipped it on its side. Okay, pulling now. We turned left in 6 seconds, which is equivalent to 0 to 100 in 1.1. And that was the end of my flight, really. I couldn't think straight. I felt sick. I felt very hot. I wasn't sick. The other guy was sick. Bloody Top Gun, eh? This is 46 minutes before after the Tom Cruise photograph. And I was shot to bits. I couldn't speak. I just lay down on the concrete, the pilot came along, my young pilot, and he just loved it because it always destroys people. And he just danced around taking photographs of me. And I lay there for 10 minutes. That white thing's the G-suit pipe, by the way. And that felt like velvet. It was just wonderful. I thought, oh. I was helped by wheelchair into the terminal. And I couldn't fly back to Bournemouth for 2 hours because I just couldn't operate my own plane. So there we go. It's another failure, I'm afraid. But I'm glad I did it. And if ever you get the chance to fly in a jet fighter, just take it. You've got to take. Life is too short. You're a long time dead. So my advice to you is, whatever that risk is you're thinking of, don't put it off. Just give it a whirl. As Confucius says, our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.